here at the Hotchkiss field base. Figured I'd do a quick summary on the experience I've been having with these ponds and what I've been kind of figuring out with those. Some interesting stuff in the Mancos shale, kind of deserty up here. I'll go ahead and get going on them. Some of this cottonwood come up from the log. It's kind of nice. Probably won't make it. They rarely do when they come up from the log like that. It's a Rocky Mountain bee plant. It's doing really good. It survived the rabbits and the groundhogs pretty well. This and the garden huckleberries over there in the western dock, and to an extent the cattails did pretty good. This weed has been taken over. That makes a spiny, thorny thing. There's actually a fair bit of grass and clovers under that got eaten down by the various critters, and hopefully those weeds will make a thorny mass, and next year they'll be able to come back, because they're all perennial stuff that's just barely got to start, and knock back the critters a little bit here, and hopefully those will do okay. Over here in the swale / overflow, I got some asparagus going. There's various asparagus all over the place in here. Some lettuce over there. Irrigation canal critters or irrigation canal plants from the irrigation canal down in town. Clovers. Some rhubarb over there. That did pretty good. Wave at the neighbors there. Just driving past. I'm redoing some stuff over here. I decided to take that water input and route it straight over into the pond, and because that ditch is losing a lot of water, so I figure it's time to kill the snails and whatnot in that ditch and let that drain out and some cracks form in it, and see where all that water is going to. See if I can't fix that without a liner. Probably not. Just put in some willows. There's a Nanking cherry right there with iris underneath, and some vetch, and some clover, some grasses in there as well. Once again, western dock. Some more asparagus in there, more clover, more grasses. I think I've got it where you can see it. I can't see because the sun's shining on the screen. So. There's some box elder. First year box elder. There's a couple of those seem to be doing pretty good. A couple of them pretty rough. But, yeah, there's another Nanking cherry. Some more grass and clover in here, and lettuce, and there's a log shoved inside of this log that's full of that golden oyster they fruited out a couple weeks ago. Duck potato in the pond here, there, and right down there. Another one over there, one or two. Some nasturtium and some squash. Got chewed back a few times, but they still seem to be doing all right. That swale, of course, trails down through from over there, comes right down along there, and back over that way, and it can be diverted back into this pond right here. This pond is not lined. This one is. This pond I've actually been pretty successful with the sealing on it. I've just used the excavator to wallow that a fair bit, and just acting like a pig with the excavator, muddying it up a few times a day for about a couple weeks there. And then that sippy pipe drains it down, and it's connected into the same pipe as that sippy pipe is. That pipe comes down, makes a T into that one, and then follows down and comes out right down there out of that pipe. I was out here witching the aquifer that this pond here is creating the other day, and that aquifer actually, instead of going straight down the slope over here, it doesn't go that way. It comes from this pond and comes out into this overflow, and then goes out that way and heads straight for that blue spruce over there. It's kind of interesting. I witched it out the other day and figured out where it was going, and I noticed about 3 or 4 days ago that there were these little bugs down there right by the camper, were coming out of the ground all over the place, and just a flood of them little bugs. Let's see if I can find some of them, because there's a few of them coming out over here. You can maybe see them there. Anyway, they're tiny little bugs, and they're just flooding out all over the place here. And that's about the edge of that aquifer, that little perched aquifer that's coming out of that. Now if I go up here where the aquifer is already in there, maybe you can see that there's none of those bugs over here. So I'm thinking as that aquifer goes through the ground, it's disturbing those bugs. Of course, that Mancos shale down there, it expands when it gets some water in it, so it's sealing up, and that aquifer is just perched in the subsoil there. So there was a few of them bugs down there along the edge. There might be a few on the top edge, but I kind of doubt it, because it's probably not expanding that much in that direction. But if I come down here, that aquifer hadn't quite made it to this tree yet, and I can look, there's quite a few of them bugs right in here. But if I come back over here, I'll get even getting some mulch. There's none of them bugs over here. So I'm thinking them bugs are coming out of the ground at the front of where that aquifer is coming through. They're getting forced out of the ground by that groundwater. And if I come beyond where the aquifer is over here, see if there's any of them over there too. Yeah, there is quite a few of them over here. But they might be running away from the aquifer too, who knows. Let's see if there's any of them up here. I know that aquifer ain't up here and ain't penetrating into here. So, yeah, I don't see too many bugs. Get over into some halfway mulched stuff. There ain't no bugs there either. So, that might be an indicator of where my little perched aquifer is getting to, that's being created by that pond. Little observation. I plan on doing a bunch of work up here in the Mancos shale, so that's probably a good thing to know. You know, just be able to see where a little subsurface aquifer is expanding or contracting. Well, I guess that wouldn't do any good for telling if it's contracting or not. But yeah, the swales down here, they've done fair. They've had a little water in them a couple times this summer, but they do dry out pretty good. They're getting a good coating of that whatever it's called, halitogen, I think that stuff maybe is. And there's a couple of clovers and grasses here and there. I'll tell you what, them rabbits and groundhogs did a number on that this summer. I've been giving it a little bit of extra water. We've got 1,000 gallons a day coming in here. There's some more asparagus right here that's coming in pretty good for, that's just asparagus from seed. All of this is from seed. So, well, other than the western docks, I brought some of those in from root. And of course the Egyptian walking onions. They're tough buggers. Another Rocky Mountain bee plant. Just about to get ready to flower. There's a couple more of them here and there, and I'm gonna definitely use the seed from those and plant a bunch more and find a bunch more, because I know where there's people that have got them. They're pretty good weed around here. And of course, nitrogen fixer, and you know, you can tell. Oh, there's a lizard. Of course, everybody wants to see the lizard. Oh, Lizzie. No, the dog don't need a lizard. Dog don't need a lizard. No, you don't need a lizard for nothing, do you? Yeah, there's a little bit of overflow from the camper there. Get this cleaned up. I'm actually going to move over next door. Do it all over again and a little more. So, yeah, there's a few of those. Let's see, I just saw one as I was walking through here, and now I don't see it again. But there's a few clover in here, little stuff like that, and they got it pretty good. There it is. There's that clover. Yeah, right there. I think you can see it. They got that real good the first part of the summer. We knocked back the prairie dogs a little bit, and rabbits, so maybe they'll get a chance to put down some roots and get perennialized and have a chance to go at it and live life to the fullest. I better let you have another look at the ponds. And that's kind of my pride and joy. I know it don't look like much. That's because so much stuff got eaten, and it's in its first year, of course. So, you know, stuff happens. But you can kind of see with this halitogen, there's little clover and stuff all over. I'm thinking that'll provide a good basis for this little ecosystem we're getting started up here. Make a pretty nice little hangout. Of course, with an amazing view. Pretty brown view down here, but amazing view up into the mountains there. So, yes sir. Yep. Happy days. May your garden grow well.